Okay, back for part 2 of this E3 day rant, and I've kept what I feel like I have the most to say about for last, and this is what I was talking about, where this is where the dead end that I was talking about is. But yeah, of course you've probably guessed what I'm talking about since I haven't said anything about it in the last video. Pokémon Ami. Basically, it's something where you, like, pet Pokemon and feed them and play with them and stuff. Basically, it's the shittiest fucking thing I've ever seen. I mean, this was clearly designed for, like, ages 7 and down, I guess, and I think, like, even 7-year-olds these days wouldn't be interested because they're too busy playing Call of Duty. But, enough stereotyping. What I meant to say about it is because there are so many conflicting, contradicting reports on what it does that it's just absolutely crazy. I mean, I've heard reports that they might have an effect on obedience. And by the way, we have no idea. We know that it's going to be an exercise, in bonding with the Pokemon, but we have no idea if that's going to be happiness as it exists now, or an entirely different variable. And so, even with that in mind, even if it is happiness, I better hope that the boosts to happiness are big, because the quickest way to boost happiness is to just walk 128 steps. Then once that's done, your happiness across your entire team has a 50% chance of increasing for every Pokemon on your team. So that you can rack up happiness points pretty quickly with that, without having to degrade yourself playing that kind of minigame. You can really feel that I'm trying very hard to not go into cluster F-bomb territory, but still. I guess now I'm pretty much done with the Relic Passage, though, so I'm going to explore what's left of the sewers, which is to say most of it. I guess I should explain before coming back to Pokémon Ami, the gimmick of the sewers. It's basically a lot like the Shoal Cave in Hoenn, in that the water level rises and goes down depending on, well, not the time of day this time. This time around it depends on the season. The water's up in spring and summer. We're in summer right now for reference purposes, and it's lower in fall and winter. So you can go to different places depending on the seasons, and the dowsing machine is going to ping like crazy, lots of hidden items down there, but you can only get to them if you either have Surf, which will allow you to get to areas where you could only go in fall and winter otherwise, or wait until fall and winter. Of course, fall is going to be the first thing that comes because it's going to be next month, and I don't plan on uploading anything during the Final Fantasy Marathon, so this is going to come by pretty quick. I'm definitely not going to be getting Surf by the time that happens. So, yeah. By the way, of course, you don't need me to tell you that, but I'm going back to heal since we're already pretty close to the entrance of the sewers, and we're just going to head much deeper into that as soon as we're done there. And by there, I mean the Pokemon Center, not the sewers themselves, because what sense would that make? But, yeah, back to Pokemon Ami for a second. Well, maybe more than a second. I've seen reports that it has to do with obedience, because, and sorry for cutting that train of thought one more time, but it's confirmed that whatever Pokemon Ami does, whether it's happiness or a different variable, will have an impact on your Pokemon's performance, which goes beyond the power of return! Imagine that! So at least Masuda wasn't lying when he said that bonding with your Pokemon in one way or another will have more of an effect on your battle performance. But as I said twice already, some say that it has to do with obedience. Others, going by a tweet from IGN, say that it's going to improve your chance of scoring criticals and evading attacks. guess who's not very happy about this potential reveal? Yeah, 6 letters, starts with an S, ends with an N. But, putting that aside, though, putting all the metagame considerations aside for a second, well, not that I want to say that IGN is wrong or anything, but to my knowledge, they're the only ones that have disclosed this kind of information among the media that were present at the roundtable. Because, let's be honest here, Sarah B doesn't say anything about criticals and evasion, Bulbagarden doesn't say anything about criticals and evasion, and Maryland doesn't have anything about criticals and evasion either. And, of course, none of them were at the roundtable since it was only for members of the media. So what the fansite owners did was basically aggregate things that they found from both Pokemon's official Twitter account as well as those sites that were present at the roundtable. And none of these three have anything regarding criticals and evasions, which makes me think that other than IGN, no one has reported on that, which seems like a pretty big thing to completely miss out on. Which, in my opinion, is kind of weird. I don't want to say that IGN is wrong on this once again. It's just that I find it weird that it's seemingly gone over everyone's heads. Of course, we're all aware of the possibility now because at least IGN itself mentioned it, but they seem to have been the only ones. So this is going to be something to look out for at the very least. And if it does turn out to be true, then I can only imagine just how much swearing the Smoganites will do if that turns out to be true. Well, I can't say that I really like the concept of even more hacks being introduced by happiness being, thrown into there, but I really would have liked them to do things a little bit more differently, like maybe a slight improvement to stats beyond IVs and EVs and natures and stuff, if anything. But, I've been thinking about something. If it turns out to be true that whether it's happiness or another variable introduced that can only be altered by Pokemon and me, the thing that I've been thinking, the way that they should handle it, in my opinion, is not only to boost the rate of critical hits and evasion with happiness, but also protection against critical hits and accuracy as well. So, basically, in a way, that would mean that, yeah, thanks, there's nothing in there but trainers. Thanks for the warning, I guess, but that's why I came here. Also, it's a lie. There are items in there, as I just said. The dowsing machine is pinging like crazy, but we can't do anything about it yet. But yeah, what I was trying to say is that basically, things that would alter critical rates and accuracy/evasion would be based depending on the difference between your happiness and that of the opponent. Meaning that if both are at max happiness, then nothing changes. Typical critical rate is still 6.25%. No evasion whatsoever, other than from I'd say moves and abilities, but there's evasion clause. So, well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I don't think I need to go in depth as to that. I like to think that my audience is fairly well educated in regards to Pokemon battling. But, yeah, bottom line is we don't know what kind of benefits Pokemon and me will bring because there are just too many conflicting reports. Even Cerebi himself uses the wording additional but currently unclear effect on Pokemon. And well, I would assume that Cerebi checked a lot of different sources and hasn't found anything conclusive. So, judging from that, I would assume that nothing set in stone was said at the roundtable. And, is that really all I can explore of the sewers? Because I remember there being so much more. I'm just gonna kill that Zubat, and I'll be right back in just a second. There has to be more. Seriously, my memory can be that faulty. And it was not that faulty. There is indeed a whole new area that you can check out over here. So, yeah, I pretty much have said everything I wanted to say about Pokemon and me, so I guess there goes that. Lots of new Pokemon revealed between the roundtable, between the trailer, Koro, lots of new things, and here's the doctor that I was talking about earlier that I thought was there in this place. And as a doctor, I will be examining your Pokemon's strength by beating it to death, because that's what doctors do. Seriously, I always find it sort of humorous that I have to let my to let doctors and nurses wail on my Pokemon a bit before healing them. Because, you know, well, I guess that's a bit, you know, how the American healthcare system works. They rape you out of your wallet before doing anything on you, or, well, it happens afterwards, but either way, your wallet's getting raped, son! So, yeah, as I was saying, lots of Pokemon that were revealed. I'm not going to go over each one. I just want to say, though, the reception for Talonflame is a lot more positive than I expected it would be, because I don't know what is about that thing that just turns me off for some reason, and it's weird. I can't put my finger on it. There's no logical reason. It just doesn't sit right with me. And drop by anytime your Pokemon need a little TLC. The Learning Channel, tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh, leftovers! I'm definitely going to keep that in mind. In fact, no. Scratch that. In fact, I am going to give it to Petilil right now. So, leftovers for Petilil. Excellent. So, heading in this area here, as you can see, there's a scientist here that uses toxins in order to build medicines. Make medicines. You can get one medicine each day here. It can be a potion, a super potion, some other kinds of medicines. Of course, it's not really worth coming all the way here every single day to get something when you can just get more effective stuff from a vending machine for relatively cheap, all things considered. But yeah, as I was saying, Talonflame. Everyone's like, oh my god, this is the coolest Pokemon ever! And I'm like, well, as I said before, it's not like I have any idea what's wrong with it. It's just no Staraptor. Let me tell you that right now. I love Staraptor, and it just doesn't sit right with me for some reason. And yeah, it's just weird, and it has nothing to do with the name either, although the name is definitely Gen 1 caliber at its finest. And in here we have absolutely nothing but a trash can, which has absolutely nothing as well. But, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm just having a Gen 1er moment or something, and I'm going to warm up to Talonflame eventually, no pun intended. But for now, first impression, I am not terribly impressed. Of course, my first impression of Klink was freaking awesome, because I thought, wow, I can't wait to see what this evolves into. It's going to be like a clockwork Pokemon or something. Nope, more gears. So, first impression, very strong, but then it quickly went down the drain in that case. Maybe the opposite will happen eventually. So, that is going to be it for today. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. If you got any further questions or comments, well, the comments below are there for that. So, with that said, I will see you next time when we are going to complete the Castelia sewers and head over to the Royal Nova once again.